This over here is my colleague.
My name is Mark Needs. I'm the Campus Recreation Director at the American School. I've been in Dubai for a long time. Our school is a not-for-profit American curriculum school. We're in a new campus, 7 years into a brand new campus out in Al Barsha, right across from the Saudi German hospital. Previous to that, we were in sort of a community campus in Jumeirah that had been there since the 60s. So we're about to celebrate our 50th anniversary, if you will. So it's been around for quite a while. So we both feel very fortunate to be there. Of course, we've got great facilities. And what we want to share with you is our primary responsibility, Mark, myself, and we also have an athletics director, Joe Biles, who's not able to be here today, about what we do, our roles and responsibilities in promoting student well-being through the extracurricular program, the after-school program. And we kind of want to tackle it from a few areas. One, how do we, what does a comprehensive extracurricular program look like? In our school, we're as active from 3 o'clock on and on Saturdays as we are during the school day. So what does that look like? How do we manage that? How does it add value to the school? Why does it add value to the school? And most importantly, of course, how does it promote student well-being? So that's kind of where we want to go with our talk today. Please, at any time, ask questions. I think with a small group like this, we can make it interactive, and certainly want to make sure that you walk away with something that perhaps you can take to your school. With that in mind, this is what we'd like you to take away. This is kind of how we focus our program around what we call the 4 C's. The first being comprehensive programming, and we'll get into each of these. The second one is the role of extracurricular programming in building community, how we communicate around that, what do we do to promote our programs and to promote the benefits that we feel our programs provide for our students through effective communication. And of course, we are a school. We want to make sure that this is connected to education. This is not about what happens up until 3 o'clock is the important academic stuff, and all just the fun stuff happens after 3 o'clock. We look at this, what we do after 3 p.m. as being directly connected to student learning. Okay? We're simply extending the learning past the academic day. So this is kind of our approach.
Yeah, and when we were tasked with this presentation, I taught in another school in Dubai before the American School of Dubai. I was also in Saudi Arabia teaching at an international school. And we all have experiences at different schools that have different types of facilities, different community members, different ways that communication is passed out. But we felt that these 4 C's, regardless of what your school facilities are, regardless of what stage you're at in the development of an extracurricular program, if you take those 4 C's, it'll give you a good launching path to start a good extracurricular program. And we're going to get into all of those as we move along.
So we'll start with a comprehensive program. What does that look like? The first thing for us, and we'll give some examples of what we do. Not too much, welcome. And here's where we may be able to get a little bit of interaction. So again, stop us at any time and ask questions. We put a great deal of emphasis on providing a variety of activities. So we often think about extracurricular activities being focused on sport, and certainly we have a robust sport program. We're a K-1 to grade 12 school in the American curriculum, and we provide activities in sport for all of those students. But we also provide arts activities, and we provide STEM activities, science, technology, education, and math kinds of activities, which provide enrichment, connects with the classroom, certainly, and provides exploratory opportunities for kids in those areas. Arts, very important, service, and leadership. So that variety of activities ensures that we provide opportunities for for all students and all student interests. We have a balance of faculty-led, parent-led, and external provider programs. Okay, so our faculty, we have an expectation that our faculty will get involved with providing after-school activities, and we have a great program where we have everything from robotics to video production to Lego to chess to knitting. It can be quite a variety of activities that we provide there that are faculty-led. Our parents, we have a very active parent community, and our parents are involved in providing activities in sports as well as other activities. And of course, like many schools in Dubai, we do rely on external providers to provide those kinds of activities that parents would normally seek in the community anyway. We provide, we make our facilities accessible by bringing some of those top providers to our school. Should note that this is our program is exclusively for ASD students. So even our external provider-led program does not allow for non-ASD students. Okay? It's very important that we have a balance between inclusive programs and selective programs. Like many schools, we have school teams where the students try out and they'll be successful, they'll make the team. We're currently in our volleyball season and our swim season. We've got soccer, basketball, and various other activities coming up, and students will try out at various age levels for those teams and be selected. But we have to balance that with inclusive programs as well, where all students who are willing to commit to coming out to that program can participate and get some coaching, get some instruction, and enjoy those activities. So we really strive for a balance between those two, inclusive for everybody and selective for obviously kids to try out for our school programs. We're vision focused. Our vision is around inspiring healthy, active living and learning. So everything that we do really goes towards that vision. The active part is not just about the physical activity, but it's about being actively involved in these kinds of new experiences that may lead kids to finding a passion or something that they will explore throughout their life. That is very much connected to our school mission, which is quite aspirational. It's around achieving dreams and becoming passionate learners and being able to adapt and contribute and all of these things. So we're very much connected to that. So we don't separate school mission from the stuff that we do after school. It's all interconnected. And we enjoy, frankly, the full support of the administration. It's quite unusual, I'm sure, for you have an athletics director and an associate athletics director and a campus recreation director and an arts director, et cetera, at many schools. But we have that as a result of the support of our administration. To Mark's point, though, what we want you to take away is that while we do enjoy some of these things, good facilities and the kind of support that helps us to achieve what we are able to achieve, any school can take what they have and develop comprehensive programming to the benefit of the students. The next C. Yes, please.
Yeah. How much of it is student-led? How much of what you offer is what you decide to offer, and how much of it is what the children would like?
Thank you. Yeah, great question. We often get students coming and saying we would like to offer a club. Many of our service clubs, in fact, have come from students. And we have a system in place in the high school where students can apply to start new clubs and activities, and we have a system in place for that. But some of our activities are very much student-focused. Things like cricket. Kids that are crazy for cricket, often it's the students that come and say, so what we do is we say, well, let's find a faculty sponsor, let's look at our facility availability and things like that. Yeah. The other thing that we do have is we also have student mentors in a lot of our programs, especially in our sport program, where our older athletes contribute back into the these activities and assist us with that as well.
Sir, excuse me.
Yeah.
Is this happening during the school hours, you mean?
No, this is after school.
It's after the school. That's
After
after school enrichment program.
That's right. So
Okay.
it happens from 3 o'clock. Our school ends at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's when the academic day finishes, and so this all.
Yeah, because we are having the same thing, so.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, we normally don't say the school ends at 3 o'clock because if you come onto the American School of Dubai campus, from 3 o'clock till 7 o'clock in the evening, it will be pretty much as busy as it was at
In the
8
morning.
o'clock in the morning. We've got so many activities going on, so we can't just say it's an extension of the academic school day. It's not the school ends and then the fun stuff starts. We see it as a whole school day is from 7 in the morning till 8
Till
o'clock at
7 in
night.
the evening.
And we want all the community members, faculty, parents, students to all try to be involved throughout that time.
So is that a paid activity that you are doing it? Is that a paid activity?
There are the external providers, parents pay extra for. The other programs that are either parent-led or faculty-led, the parents do not pay extra for that.
Thank you.
And are all the students supposed to be a part of these activities, or they can decide whether they want to stay on in school or not?
They decide.
They decide.
Yeah, they decide. But once we do have a lot of our programs that require commitment. So if they say they're coming, then they're coming. And when we look at our data for how many students that we have involved in our activities, we have a student population slightly under 1,900, I think we are.
1780.
About 1780. And we have over 2,000, just in campus recreation, over 2,000 student contact hours a week. Right, so now obviously you've got kids in multiple activities and things like that, but when you add in the arts and you add in, we've got a huge percentage of our student population are involved in activities after school. That's including the paid activities as well, which we do have a lot of kids involved with. I think, anything else? Yes, sir.
I'm from Emirates International School. We've got a pretty good program as well.
Yeah.
I noticed we haven't got much of a parent-led program. How do you monitor your parents who are doing these programs?
Well, I go out and we talk to parents. I work with the parents in setting the programs up so they get full support from the campus recreation department. We manage the sign-ups and we manage meetings with parents, and for some of the activities we even provide coaching to help them. But otherwise, we have parent conveners. So parents, this is what they want to do, this is how they want to give back to the school. Often they're parents whose kids are going to benefit, as well. Much like what we would enjoy back home, the community type programs the parents volunteer for, soccer, baseball, whatever. We bring those to the schools. So right now, for example, we have rollerblading, right, for K1 to grade 3 students. It's very simple. We have the facility available. Parents will bring snacks, parents will set up the gym, provide the music, and the parents have to be there with their children so they don't just drop them off and somebody else takes care of them. It's definitely a parent with child kind of program. That's the idea.
So it tends to be more recreational.
Absolutely, yeah.
But even from the athletic standpoint, we do have a few parent coaches, and they would go through the same interview process as a faculty member. For all our coaches, they have to come and have an interview and a pre-season meeting where we would find out their qualifications and in what they've done in the past. And then throughout the season, they'll have evaluations very much like a classroom teacher does. And at the end of the season, they'll have a post-meeting where we will give them the data from their evaluations and give them points they can improve on, what they've done well, and all those things. So we see it as very much like the principals in the school will monitor their teachers. From the athletic standpoint, we monitor our coaches in a very similar way, just so that we have consistency throughout and we can make sure that our students are getting the best experience that is being offered to them.
The next of our C's is about community. So I think we've kind of painted a picture that we have we have very high engagement across all members of our community, from the students to the parents to the faculty. And one of the things that we want to do, and we stress again, is this vision for healthy, active living. And that's kind of what brings us here today, I think, is that we want everybody to model this vision. So our parents come and they're actively engaged, they're modeling. We even have exercise classes on campus for parents. So we see that as being an opportunity to model. Parents can use our facilities with obviously strict guidelines for timing and things like that, to be able to come and exercise or be involved in activities. And so we want to create that, that community piece around healthy, active living. We have great support from our parents, both from our Parent-Teacher-Student Association, which many schools, of course, will cultivate and encourage. We have an arts support team, so parents support our arts department. Boosters will support the athletics program, and much more. So we have great participation of parents. We really want the students to feel connected to the school through these kinds of activities, and we definitely see the benefits that in the classroom, just in terms of the culture and the ethos of the school. If you walk onto our campus, you know, you'll really kind of get a sense that we're in a place where people want to be, and that's what we believe that we encourage in a very strong way through this sense of the community that comes from the partnerships that we develop to bring about these programs. So that goes a long way to, again, building that culture. And really it's about, you know, not so much about, you know, what we do, it's who we are, right? So we feel that this is extremely important. We work very hard to de-silo our programming. So it's not academics and extracurricular, right? We work together in partnership, you know, and again, being a vision and a mission-focused school, that's really evident when you walk on our campus. So we feel that going and in a meaningful, purposeful way to building community and engaging all of the people in the community, you're going to go a long way to building the healthy and active living that we want to see in our community and model for our students. I think I'm going to let Mark take it over from here.
Yeah. I'll say, okay, so just to reiterate, we've had the 2 C's so far. We've had the comprehensive programming and we've had the community piece. Our 3rd C is on communication, and this is a very important one. To tie back into the community, if they don't know what's going on, it's going to be very difficult to get that community buy-in so that they can come to your school and engage in all the different activities. So communication is very important, and we pride ourselves in our departments that communication is accurate, it's timely, and we get it out so that we can create that environment of that community. A few ways, and every school will have a different way of communicating. Some of the ways that we have is we have our handbooks. These are 2 pictures of them. So each department will have a handbook that is given out to, on the right hand side we have our athlete handbook that's given out that has all the rules that the athlete should be following, but also forms that may have to be handed out. And that's just a hard copy, tangible piece that they're able to take on. It's also available on the website, but sometimes it's nice for those parents to have that hard piece. The campus recreation handbook is also there. So those are just some of the easy ways that you can get communication out. It's done in a professional way, and parents and the community really appreciate that. We also, as I mentioned, we have the website, which is an internal website for our community. But again, it's updated daily. And it's very accurate, and parents can rely on that information for what is happening on in the campus. Another way of communication, we call it visible role modeling. If you come onto our campus, at 3 o'clock, 3:30, you will see a lot of the faculty teachers also modeling the healthy active living, which is a great communication piece in the visible sense. When parents come on to pick up their students, they're able to see faculty members actively involved in looking after themselves, but also coaching the students in all the different activities, running clubs in the classroom, and it's just a great communication piece for that visible sense that they understand that there's lots going on, and it's just kind of a good piece to set up. Another one that we do is, we're going to click on it in a second, it's a video that gets sent home weekly, and this kind of ties into the connection to the education piece. And I'll let Mr. Needs click on that, and then we'll speak about it after you've watched it, hopefully.
Welcome to the first Middle School Minute News in the 2015-2016 school year. We are so excited to share with you highlights from the past week, as well as what to look forward to in the future and upcoming week. Let's get started. The U14 boys and girls volleyball team opened their season at home on Sunday against the ACS Sand Vipers from Abu Dhabi. Both the ACT Falcons girls and boys team lost in their debut by 2 sets of 1. However, the coaches had some very encouraging words about their players.
I thought they played great. This is our first game of the season, and I have to say, from where we were last year, this is an awesome effort on their part. I was really impressed with what they did, and I think they should be proud of themselves.
I think that we bring a great offense and defense. We're working out forward too, and I think you guys did a great job doing it.
Come and support the U14 boys volleyball team who will take on Dubai International Academy on Sunday, September 20th at 4 p.m. Go Falcons! Intramural basketball, climbing club, chess club, and the very popular Food Revolution cooking class all got off to a great start this week. If you signed up but didn't make it out to the first sessions, please be sure to be there next week. Contact Campus Recreation if you have any questions. Kids for Wish Kids is looking for new enthusiastic members. The first meeting of the year will be on Monday, September 21st, from 3:15 to 3:45 in room C112, Mr. Walker's room. If you want to make a difference in someone's life, then this may be the club for you. Looking for an exciting new book?
So that's just another communication piece that goes home to the community, and it's also shown in advisory classes on a Thursday morning, so all the students are able to watch it and get that information. And we just find that it's just kind of a bit different, and students love to watch the TV, and that's a way that they're able
How
to
often it's done? Is it done weekly?
Weekly.
Weekly.
Yeah,
Every
weekly.
week you do this?
Every week, so we have a faculty member that runs it, obviously, but we try to make sure that, as you can see, it's all student-led.
Yes.
In terms of they're doing the presenting, and it's a great tie into the technology piece for the education, multimedia, journalism. You'll have students knocking on your office door just wanting questions, and then you'll see a Q&A session that they did with the athletics office. So we just find it's another communication piece that is able to get out there to the community. So in a way, we kind of flood the community with the communication, but it's important that we're able to say it was out there and everybody's appreciative of that because they know it's happening. So communication, we really think it's one of the kind of the core C's that was put on there. The last C, the 4C, is the connection to education piece. You've just seen the video that we do with the communication, the Middle School Minute, and that ties back into the education piece massively. but also our extracurricular programs tie back into the education piece. So we address the physical, the social, and the emotional well-being of the child. It's very important that a happy child is going to do well academically, so we make sure that that is addressed with all our coaches in campus recreation. Varied experiences for the students after school. You don't want to just create your programs to be sport heavy, because then you'll leave out the students that are interested in the dramas and the arts and the robotics. So it comes back to that comprehensive programming. And it doesn't have to be 15 sports offered for that sports session. It can be that one and one if your facilities don't allow to have too many. But when we talk about comprehensive, we just want the varied, different options for the students to choose, so that you can get that varied experiences for those students. And we also offer varied options throughout the year. So if a student wants to do a sport in the fall, but then they want to be involved in the arts in the spring, that is available to them. But we also are wary that we don't want to overload our students, so we do say they have to commit to one activity in the fall. It's very difficult for them to do the theatre and the sports, so you need to be, when you're offering varied activities, you also need to be mindful of the emotional well-being of the child and not overload them with activities. We just put in a little bit of data there. The well-documented student experiences in a balanced, well-managed extracurricular program improves student learning. And again, that's tying back to that education piece. We call our athletes student athletes, and we always say student comes first. So we need to make sure that their grade point average is meeting the standard that we require. So we do take the educational aspect very, very seriously and very important for us. Just going on again, we call it an education-based athletic program. We like to say that all our coaches, for the most part, are teachers, and that's faculty members, and that's really important because they know how a student is and how they act. So we don't really have any paid programs coaching our athletic teams. It's all faculty-led members and one parent right now, because we understand that we like to know that they know what the athletes are in terms of our competitive teams. Character education is a core component of the programs, which is huge. We have our core values for the schools: compassion, excellence, integrity, respect, and responsibility. And those are pushed into our programs, extracurricular programs, very hard, and the students really appreciate that. And it's just an important part of who we are as a school, not only during the school day, but then at the extension of the school day, we also promote those core values. Education focused on the importance of healthy, active living. So before our sports seasons begin, we have parent meetings and we talk about sleep and diet and all those important things that sometimes students forget about. So we do try to push that through. Also through our communication piece, we make sure that's important because we do want our students to be looked after at school, but also at home.
Just a question, when you address parents about the healthy,
Yep.
Is it in a parent conference, one-to-one, or a workshop?
It can be done both, but before, a lot of the times we'll have parent meetings, very similar to this forum, where they'll come in after school.
Specific to extracurricular?
Yes, yep. 3 o'clock we'll have a meeting and we'll discuss what the seasoning is going to look like, and that's where we would address the hygiene piece and the food piece and the sleep piece, and just making sure that parents are aware of this is what needs to happen if your child is going to be doing the extracurricular, staying at school till a little bit later, and making sure that we get that education piece looked after too. And the last piece is the guiding principles for participation is fun, fair, fit. And yes, you can have a select program, but it also needs to be fun. It needs to be fair. Students need to understand why they've made the team, why they haven't made the team. Again, that communication piece, we send emails individually to each student who's made the team and who hasn't made the team. Campus recreation, when it's all inclusive, everybody's aware of it, and we say fun, fair, and then obviously we want to keep them fit. And that's Fatty the Falcon, our mascot there. So,
If I could just piggyback on something that Mark mentioned earlier, Mark, it's
yeah.
I mean, we develop partnerships, so everything that we do with our external providers. So when we talk about our mission and core values, we talk about that with our external providers. When we look at the nutrition and all of those other aspects that go along with healthy living, we partner with the food providers, on our campus. We work with the Booster Club, who runs a concession stand. This is something that is across every facet of our school and our program. So rather than just having somebody come in and in isolation do something, as Mark was saying, we sit down with parents, we sit down with the external providers, and we go over all of these things so that they understand that to us as a school, it's very, very important that we partner with them in delivering a consistent message to our community, to our students, and so on.
So there are many layers to what we do, and we're very fortunate that the administration does support that, and we do have positions where we're able to have those meetings with the extracurricular people, we're able to have those meetings with the parents. So we're very appreciative of the administration seeing that, but they see that this is a huge part of the whole child educational piece, and that's why it is such an important aspect of what we do, and hopefully other schools are able to start or develop and get there, because at the end of the day we do want to make it a fun and rewarding experience for the students, because at the end of the day everything we do is just around the students. Every decision that's made in the athletic department, campus recreation, is it going to benefit the students? And if that answer is, I don't know, then we're not going to do it. It has to be a yes, and then it's pushed through, and then luckily we do get the support of everybody involved.
How do you evaluate the activities that you do, and who participates in the evaluation?
It'll be based on, she asked, how do we evaluate the extracurricular activities that are offered? It'll be based through each department. So I'm in the athletics department, so myself and Mr. Biles, the athletic director, would evaluate our coaches, very similar to how teachers are evaluated. We have standards that we look at, and we observe practices, we observe games, and all those things. Campus recreation would be similar.
We send out, we do a big expo at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year we do a big survey. So we send out the survey to all our parents, and they can give us the feedback. Of course, we get feedback, ongoing feedback as well. So we address that as concern. If a concern comes up, we certainly address that immediately. But at the end of the year, we do a feedback survey, and then we will make adjustments to our program according to that information. We'll share the information. If it's a feedback about an external provider, we'll share that information with them. Again, we want them to, to learn from the feedback that they're getting from our parents as well. But and then I'll make decisions on that. Part of what we do, my responsibility is also facility use management. So when we talk about where these meetings happen, or these practices, or evening activities, recreational activities, things like that, that's part of what I'm responsible for managing as well. So again, that partnership really comes in at the organizational level as well. Between Mark, Joe, myself, our arts director, we work very closely together. Our service clubs, we have a service learning coordinator, we work very closely together, and we meet regularly to assess our programs and to make decisions. Yes, sir.
Do you have a house system within ASD?
A house system? No, we don't.
I'm sorry, also, how do you get staff's involvement? Is it embedded into their contracts? Or what's the incentives for the staff to actually host?
Right now, contractually, it's an expectation rather than a contractual obligation. I think I'll word it that way. And we monitor that, we guide that, and provide the opportunities for teachers to be able to give to the program at a time that suits them. You know, I hope that we've painted the picture that we feel the academic program is very, very important, and that, you know, we're complementing that. And so we recognize that teachers are very busy and that their focus should be in the classroom. So at a time of the year that it suits them, what would they like to do? When would they like to do it? At what time of year? And then we will track that. But right now it's not built into our contract. They also get paid for this. So they get a stipend for delivering that extracurricular activity. Okay?
Do they need to be, do you checking to see whether they qualify to facilitate a particular activity, or is it just hobby-wise?
Yes. I mean, we have our IT department will put together the STEM types of activities. So our robotics club, our Minecraft, and some of the other IT-related activities are delivered by people from the IT department. Okay. If it's knitting club, like we've had knitting club, a teacher said I would like to do knitting. She had 20 students sign up for knitting club. We have a cooking club. Our cooking club in the middle school was mentioned briefly in the video that the kids did. Our parent, we have a faculty member and we have a parent volunteer. They are Jamie Oliver Food Revolution ambassadors in Dubai, and so they run it. So sometimes it is very recreational. It's a skill that a person has, and sometimes it's actually you know, part of their professional work.
Yeah, and then for the athletic side of the piece, we have varsity athletes, which are the 11th and 12th graders, junior varsity, 9th and 10th, middle school is 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So for those competition teams, they'll submit resumes, if you will, and we'll vet them and go through, and then we'll have a pre-season meeting just to talk through things, and then we'll assign them to the coaching position. But we also run a 4th and 5th grade sports program called the Mini Falcons, and that's where we'll take somebody that's interested in coaching, who's a faculty member, but maybe doesn't have the necessary skills yet to coach at the competitive level, and we will put them into the 4th and 5th grade program with an experienced coach, so that we're giving them, the faculty, opportunities to learn and develop their skills, because that's an important piece to the professional development piece. And so we want to try to get, if a faculty member is interested in doing an activity but maybe doesn't have the necessary skills, we don't want to deter them. We want to embed them in the program, but we'll do it in a way that it benefits the students too, as well as benefiting the faculty.
When it comes to our external providers, of course, you know, we have a lot of documentation, both from trade licenses to CVs, qualifications, all of those kinds of things that naturally would be provided for any external provider to come and work. But we work very, very closely with them, again, in developing partnerships so that they understand when they come to the American School of Dubai to deliver these programs, it's not just a pay-for transaction. Okay. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
You know, I belong to a school where the strength is 10,000 plus in one campus. So do you think that this program can go on? Like, we do an afternoon enrichment program, and we have a normal PE lessons every day. But one class gets only once in a week, one period. So, you know, in that situation, like, what do you say?
Well, I mean, just off the top of my head, I would love to come and see that.
Please come.
So I would love to come to a school with 10,000 students and see how you manage it.
It's 10,500.
Because I know, just like at EAS, I taught at EAS for a year way back in the day. EIS, sorry, at Emerson International. And I know that there's great programs going on at the different schools around. So I think, you know, there's an opportunity here for some cross collaboration, and I would love to come and see how you manage it.
Please.
What recommendations I would have, you know, I mean, there are certain obviously challenges there that we
Yes.
face in a different way. So I would love to come and see that.
Please do visit our school.
Yeah, and certainly maybe we can exchange some contact details or something if anybody's interested in coming to our school and having us to yours. I think that'd be great. Yes, sir.
It's a comprehensive program as far as psychomotor learning, effective learning is concerned. So such type of activities are very much impressive regarding the students' personality grooming, their physical development. So it's really a comprehensive program, but I would suggest one thing, that there should be a connection of students learning. For example, if you are doing a number of things in your school in a very systematic way, so why not to link these things with students' evaluation and monitoring? For example, we have some students like SEND students and students slow learners. So if they are indulged in such type of activities, should we know that whether their learning is improved or not? That will be used as mentioned connection to education. So that will, I think, more comprehensive, that if the students with slow learning or SEND students are indulged in such type of activities, then their learning should be evaluated. So it will be, I think, another C for your this program.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we can draw a distinction too sometimes in the terminology between extracurricular and co-curricular. So co-curricular programming, where there is a definite connection to what's going on in the curricular program, and therefore, necessary evaluations associated with that. We're talking about an extracurricular program that we consider has intrinsic benefits to a child's learning. Right now, so we don't value that in a purposeful way as an extracurricular program. But if anybody does, I would love to see, how that works. We're really big on this program about the character development, the teamwork, the leadership, obviously the healthy, active living pieces that we're focused on. But some of those things, again, we cited just one little bit of research. There's lots of research out there that shows the connection to student learning by being actively engaged in these types of programs. And so, again, you don't want to disassociate extracurricular from learning. The two are compatible, integral, and we would argue essential, in order to promote student learning. So really, I think what we do is we're very committed to student learning as an educational institution. My question might be, how can we not provide these opportunities as an educational institution for students? It almost doesn't make sense that we don't, right? So the challenges are certainly there. 10,000 students in a school, with limited facilities perhaps. Obviously, we're 1,800 students with incredible facilities, and welcome you to come and have a look at what we have to offer. We're very fortunate that way. We haven't always had those facilities. We've had a very successful track and field program with no track. We've had a very successful theater program with no theater. Just a stage in an elementary gymnasium. So it really is, what is your collective will as an educational institution to bring about these programs for the benefit of your students and your community? That's kind of where we're coming from.
And as we've been speaking, I don't want to throw another C at you, but we've been talking about this and we've been back and forth, and I think you could even throw in a fifth C of commitment. I think commitment is a huge piece, but not just from the students, but from the faculty, from the administration, from the community. And once you have that commitment from all those people, all the 4 C's will come kind of into place, and you will have a fantastic extracurricular program at your school. So I think that commitment piece, so just to take away comprehensive programming, community, communication, connection to education, and then if you wanted to throw that commitment piece in, and once you get those 5 C's in place, 4 C's with the new one we've added, I think you'll be on your way to a fantastic benefit for the students and for everybody involved. Thank you very much for attending.
Thank you. Well done.